Hello, Steve.
Hello, how are
How
you?
are you on this fine day? Oh, you've gone.
I'm just trying to get in. Here we go.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Yes, thank you very much for joining me today. Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. Sorry, I've just been having some problems with the internet. You know what it's like, technology. Anyway, no, this is not my front room or my in the back of me. It's something I put up, and I keep on getting asked, is that my front room? No, it's not. So I don't live in a palace like that. No, I wish I did. Anyway, I have got the wonderful Martin Sharp with me. Hello, Martin. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Steve.
Good.
Yeah, you've
How's
got a
the
lot of
weather?
technology. It's a little colder, which is a thankful thing because it got rather warm the last couple of days. My dog definitely didn't enjoy the really hot weather. But no, it's a bit better now.
Great. Tell every. I know we got to keep doing it, but tell everybody a bit about yourself.
Yeah, certainly no worries. So yeah, I'm Martin Sharp, and back in 2014, I weighed in at 154 kilos. That's 24 and a quarter stone in old money. And had a 54-inch waist. And I found this out while I was away on holiday with my children, and I was being denied being able to take them on roller coasters and things because I just couldn't fit in the seats. That kind of really took me on a bit of a journey, trying to actually improve my health and my fitness, and basically try to change my lifestyle. And what I suddenly found out straight away was actually it's not as simple as it sounds. A lot of the mainstream kind of ways of doing these things didn't work for me simply because I was a very busy person. I was all over the world, so doing all sorts of transformations for my business. Um, so I spent a long time trying a whole variety of things. You name it, I've probably tried it. I've tried Weight Watchers diets, Atkins diets. I tried various
Mm.
different juices, tried various different lotions and potions and supplements. And oh God, what else? I did. I got gym memberships, I had a PT. I even tried things like fat burning coffee. I mean, who on earth tries fat burning coffee other than someone who's really desperate to try and make something work? And it wasn't until actually I met a chap who was called Pete. Actually, it was in the Felbridge Hotel over near Gatwick, and he was a very good-looking guy. He was very well chiseled, incredibly well dressed. And I just asked him the question, what does he kind of do to keep himself looking good? Because he was another busy professional. And he said, I've got myself an online coach. And then working with an online coach helped me be able to restructure what I was doing and actually start to lose the weight. Because that combined with actually understanding about how to schedule things in and put the planning around things and build a method for myself that worked, as well as getting some rest for myself, really made a massive difference. And within a year, I dropped 40 kilos. And in total, over the space of about 2 years, I dropped down from 154 kilos down to 94 kilos. And that's down from a 54-inch waist to a 32-inch waist. And the crazy thing is, I was laughing with my, well, I wasn't laughing, I was ranting at my wife actually when that happened, because when you've got that kind of drop, and it's not quite 10 stone. And that's what I was aiming for. I wanted to have a 10 stone drop. That's what would have brought me within that BMI scale to say a healthy weight. And I thought, well, let's give it a try, see if we can get down to that. And yes, I didn't quite make it that 10 stone. I was kind of kicking myself, feeling really down and depressed about it. And my wife says, you do realize you've lost 60 kilos, and that's a hell of an achievement. It's like losing a person. And I thought, oh, yeah, it's quite nice when that happens.
Yeah.
Um, so it's interesting how your mind plays tricks on you, even during those journeys when things are actually going really well.
So, how tell everybody how you lost it, how you lost the weight and everything.
Yeah, sure. So I kind of bring it down to like six key things that I had to do. The first one was getting my mindset in the right kind of place. And that all came down to really about what did I value the most. And after doing a lot of work on that, the thing I found I valued the most was my family, my friends, and my clients. And I would do anything for them. And the thing was, I was doing anything for them and putting them first and not me. Um, which led to the kind of weight increase. Um, So once I started to revalue things and realize that actually, if I didn't look after myself, then I wouldn't be able to help them or I wouldn't be able to support them and things. And actually, that would then impact my own values. It made a big difference. And then when I've been working with people since then, actually, when we get their values aligned, it makes a massive difference. Because most people, they can shift their values and they do on quite a regular basis. Because, for example, a lot of people will put things like going on holiday as being quite a big thing in their calendar. And no matter how busy they are or how tight things are, they will find a way to go away on holiday. And that means that they've managed to shift their values to put that higher. So you got to ask yourself, why wouldn't you change your values to put yourself higher as well? So you start to put yourself first. So that kind of is one of the bits that I found worked really well for me and worked for other people. The kind
Yeah.
of second element we look at is more the mechanics of things. So you've got both the meals and you've got the movement side of things. You know, we are an animal after all, and you know we put fuel in and we expend fuel out, and it is a very much a basic equation. If you put too much fuel in, you'll be carrying too much, and it will just get stored. If you don't have enough, then you'll put yourself into a starvation point, and your body will start to break down. So you know it's about having the right amount of fuel for doing what you're doing, and that comes down to what kind of goals you've got and what it is that you're trying to do. So again, real critical that you understand actually what it is that you're trying to get out of this, and then match this like meals and the movement side of things to exactly what it is that you're looking to achieve. The last kind of three areas that I found work really well. The first one is kind of the opposite of what people think, in that it's actually about resting, and I call it moderation, because everyone thinks, oh, it's about doing as much workout as you can. You've got to go down to the gym. You've got to be there for like hours. You've got to be sweating buckets and this, that, and the other. And the reality is that that isn't the case. And in fact, you can hamper your fat loss if you do things like that, because you need to just get your body into that like optimum position where it's still got the energy that it needs, and you don't put yourself into a position where you start craving things that you don't need. And the reality is, your body actually does all of its repair work when you're resting and relaxing. So if you don't get enough sleep and you don't get enough downtime or time where you're not actually exercising or not actually working, and certainly when you're not stressed, then no matter what you do, you could nail the diet. You could absolutely have the best possible exercise plan on this planet. And if you don't get that moderation right, it will not make an ape of the difference. You'll still be in a position where actually you'll still put on weight. And then the last two kind of elements we've got, the next one, I call it the method. And this is, you've got to find a way that works for you. I have a simple saying: if it isn't in the diary, it doesn't get done. Because if you start to schedule things in and work out actually how you can fit things around in your lifestyle, then straight away you can start to build great habits, so that becomes an easier way of being able to adopt things. Whereas if you don't do that, you're in a position where you kind of at a chance that you're hoping things will work. I want to say schedule things, I mean schedule everything in, not just the going down the gym type thing, but it's the kind of preparation. It's the taking time out to rest and relax. It's about making sure you've got your meal planning and things in. And then if things come up, realizing that, you know, nothing's cast in stone. You can change things around. So if you've got an emergency meeting or you need to quickly go sort something out with your kids at school, or even actually you want to go do something that's pleasurable and it's just not been in the diary, don't beat yourself up about it. Just reschedule things around it, because once you've got that method that works for you and it works for your lifestyle and attaining your goals, then it becomes so much more easier. And then the last one is monitoring, because I've been in doing business and business transformation so many years. I always like the old Peter Drucker saying, you know, what isn't monitored isn't managed. And it's so very true, because, you know, people they'll say, oh yeah, I'm sticking to an exercise plan, or I'm sticking to a diet plan, or I'm getting enough sleep and all those things. And you say, well, okay, well, how much sleep are you getting? Oh, it's like 4 or 5 hours a night. But which is it? Is it 4 or 5? And you realise, is that actually enough for your body? Have you actually done any things to try and test? See, maybe 6 hours might be better, or 8 hours might be better, or 9 hours. And you might say, how long have you been exercising for. Oh, I was down the gym at least 5 times this week. Or was it 6? Well, which one was it? Is it 5 or 6? So once you start to monitor things and monitoring the right kind of things in the right kind of way, then you can start to make adjustments, because you'll start to see trends and track trends, and not just in the mechanical items like what your weight is and how many sessions you've been at the gym or whatever, but also in other things that are going on in your life. So you might, for example, start to spot things that are causing you stress or causing you distress in some kind of way, which will be hampering your progress, and then start to work out how to change those around. So yeah, for me, those were the kind of 6 things that I found that I did that made the biggest difference in my own transformation, and I've replicated that with other people, and I'm finding they get the same kind of results once they start using that same methodology.
Mm. A lot of people will use like gimmicks, don't they? They use like the milkshakes, Slimming World, and other things, And I see, we've talked before. I see a flux of people when they go, like after Christmas, they all rush to the gym. They sign up, and around about, and they stop going. Then they moan because they paid out a lot of money, and it just makes me laugh. You know what I mean? I'd love to be in that queue when they're kind of moaning about it. You know what I mean? They go once and they think, "Oh, it's a lot of hard work. Can I have my money back, please?" You know what I mean? What kind of people come to you then? How do you kind of what's your plan? How do you do? Do you do it all online, or do you do like a little boot camp?
No, I do everything online, as opposed to anywhere else. So what I found works really well is that if you give people a real clear set of instructions, most people will follow it. Certainly, when it comes down to exercise, most people are quite willing to put the time in to do it. Um, some people find it a lot more difficult to stick to a meal plan, but again, that's about working with them and having that accountability, and then trying to work out what are the kind of issues. Why is it that they can't stick to those things? So a lot of it comes down to coaching on that side of the level, as opposed to actually coaching on what the actual physical movement is, because most people can work out what that is, and if you give them really clear instructions. So I don't tend to do things like boot camps or things like that. I literally do everything as consultation calls, and we do a lot of accountability together. We share a lot of the information, etc. I keep doing things like journaling and things with people. So again, coming back down to that kind of monitoring piece, but just to kind of touch on that bit you said earlier, and it really does fit into why the online coaching thing works really well, is because you've kind of got this thing where people have that moment of inspiration. Oh, I'm going to make a change, and they're inspired to do something, and then they get motivated. They actually say, right, that's it. I'm going to go do it. I'm actually going to go down to gym, and they go down to gym and sign up for something. But then, like you were saying, they're missing that final piece, which is the dedication to make it happen. And for some people, that dedication comes because of an intrinsic driver, something that's inside them.
Mm.
Other people, they need that little bit of accountability that somebody else, they've got to say that they've done it, and these are the results, etc. And if they don't like the idea of showing weakness to somebody else, so they will go ahead and do that. And it's about finding what's the bits that kind of help other people to be able to maintain that, because it's not, there is no get fit quick scheme or magic pill or anything that instantly gives you these things, no matter how much people try and say, if you drink fat burning coffee or you take whatever these tablets are or various other things. It is all down to perseverance and consistency of action towards your goal that will get you there. So it's that dedication piece that you need once you've kind of passed through inspiration and motivation. And the best way of being able to get that dedication and keep to it is by creating great habits that support that.
Mm, yeah, but and that's what it comes down to is habits, isn't it? It's like if we're, it's like chocolate or kind of like takeaways and everything. You know, we always it's an habit, and it's so difficult to get out of.
Yeah, it's really interesting, is that because I was doing an interview a few days ago actually, and they asked me a really interesting question, which was around what food would you recommend people avoid? And I was kind of thinking about it, and it kind of reminded me of the fact that actually, when you tell people to try to avoid something, like for example, trying to get rid of a bad habit, if you put the attention on the things that they're trying to avoid, or put the attention on the bad habit, it's almost like the forbidden fruit. It's like the thing that they then want to do, because your mind can't process negatives. So, for example, if I say to you, do not think of a blue elephant, your mind has to picture a blue elephant for you not to be able to think about it. So you're already thinking about a blue elephant. And this is kind of one of the hard things when you're trying to help people to um, do things in a better way, from create those better habits, because it's about filling then the gap that's created. So rather than getting them to think about a blue elephant, you get them to think about the thing they need to be thinking about.
Mm, yeah, yeah. And that's the trouble, though, isn't it? But the trouble is, it's so difficult when we kind of like come to. I remember my own weight journey. You go down there. I remember when went to boot camp, I hated it every single bloody day. I hated it. You know, I, and getting up early hours in the morning, going to a gym. You're on the treadmill around about 7 o'clock in the morning. Who wants to be on the bloody treadmill at 7 o'clock in the morning? You know what I mean? Then it's like so, and it's like working all day long, and kind of doing different exercises. Then it was the hip stuff, the sit down, sit down, stand up, whatever, and it was like, oh, it was hard work, and that's the trouble is when people are overweight or obese or whatever. The trouble is, it's damn hard work for people. And sometimes people think, well, why should I do it? You know what I mean? And they don't realize, like, at the moment in time, they're kind of like, their health is kind of like not good, is it? Someone's, if someone's obese, their health surely is not very good. Diabetes come into it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of potential markers. I mean, I think this is the whole thing. It's all about the potential for things that might happen in the future. And you're right, all those kind of non-communicable diseases, cancer, diabetes, fibromyalgia. There's a whole variety of things that basically could come flooding your way, just because your body
Yeah.
is now more susceptible to those things. Um, and you're right, it's not always the easiest things, but there are things you can do that will make it a bit easier and a bit simpler. And it's not all about necessarily putting yourself through hours upon hours upon hours of cardio or hit to get there. So, for example, when you there's different energy that run through your body, different kind of systems that you've got that require the calories to be able to be there to run. So about 70% of your body, 70% of the calorific intake of most people is actually just in breathing and thinking, and just existing, really. And so that's kind of your base level. On top of that, you've then got your the thermic effect of food, so the amount of energy that your body utilizes by consuming food, which I think is something like about 15% or something. Then on
Yeah.
top of that, you've got the non-activity related thermogenesis. So this is you fidgeting or just walking around generally, the bits of movement, etc., which is like another 10% or something. And then on top of that, the final piece, and it's only a small piece, it is like literally 10, 5, 10, maybe 15%, is the exercise related thermogenesis. So the pieces around actually you actively moving. So it's a tiny, tiny portion, really, by doing a lot of exercise and stuff. So you got to think actually, if you're clever about this, how can you actually increase the amount of energy your body is utilizing when it's just surviving? And one of the key things for that is if
Mm.
you can change your body composition slightly, so you've got more muscle mass. Muscle mass is more energy, more active, effectively. It's more better metabolically active, so it requires more energy just to even exist than body fat does. So if you can then start to build more muscle mass, then straight away your body will automatically start to consume more of what you're bringing in anyway. And if you've then got a calorie deficit going on, then the reality is you'll start to burn even more of the body fat because your body will literally take it from somewhere. It still needs that to be able to survive. And this is the way the body's kind of worked for like millennia. It's all part of this specific adaptation that actually happens in everyone's body because your body's always changing, it's always adapting, it's always kind of thinking, well, this is what's happened to me now. How can I make sure I'm going to be able to survive for tomorrow?
Yeah, yeah. I used to be on like takeaways nearly every day, and I was eating takeaways, kebabs, fish and chips, whatever. And the trouble is, so Martin, like, that's fine. But when I went to boot camp, it was like a wake up call. It was like, for breakfast, it's like a Weetabix or whatever, and then dinner time, it was some sort of, um, well, I don't know, what do they call it, show? What did we have at dinner when we went to boot camp dinner time? Yeah, pasta and all that lot. And I used to be, and I used to be knackered. By 12 o'clock, I used to be shattered, you know. And I thought to myself, oh, by eating this pasta, it'll give me the energy and everything. But something was up because I was so used to kind of like having these takeaways and foods, but coming down to a little carton, small carton of food, you know, I was not used to. It was just rabbit food to me. You know what I mean? I was put on these soups, and everything. But for somebody who is kind of like, say, I don't know, say 30 odd stone, right? When they go to boot camp, do you think it's right for someone to be kind of like to start straight away on their meal planning?
Yeah, I think that's basically you're absolutely right there. You can't deal with the problem by just looking at one side of the equation. You've got to balance up both. So just doing exercise
Right.
will never ever get rid of the body fat. You need to make sure you've got the nutrition to then support what your body needs, and then the kind of goals that
Yeah.
you're trying to
Yeah.
achieve. So yeah,
Yeah.
it might not necessarily be the answer everybody wants to hear, but it's just how the body works.
Yeah. Yeah. And it certainly did work. 11 stone in 6 months. That was really, really good. It was hard work. It was damn hard work. But the trouble is, so with your job, when you're kind of like speaking to people online and you're telling them what to do they actually do it, or are they sometimes thinking, well, he's not, he don't know what I'm going to eat and everything like that? Because surely for you, I know you're being paid, but at the end of the day, if they kind of like, they could say anything, can't they?
Yeah, and I think that's part of what you try and do with people is to get them to a point where, you know, who are they really cheating? Who are they really lying to? So I get them to, for example, make a promise to themselves about what they're trying to do, because that's a really powerful thing to do. Because if you can't even trust yourself, then who can you trust? And if you're willing
Mm,
to lie to yourself, right, over something as
mm,
trivial as that, then what else
mm,
are you lying to yourself about? What else are you not feeling worthy about? And the
mm,
thing is,
yeah,
you are worth it. That's the thing. You are absolutely worth it every single time. And it's then about looking again back at your values. What is it you're trying to achieve? Why are we trying to achieve it? Because once you can kind of hook into those things and kind of build up that self-esteem, build up the realization you can trust yourself and you can make that difference, then straight away,
yeah,
it becomes just a measure of trust. And most people are actually trustworthy. I know as much as you read in the media about all these nasty people in the world, etc. I would say most people you will ever come across in life are actually incredibly trustworthy, incredibly honest, and are really just trying to make their best way in life that they can.
yeah, yeah. But it's kind of like, but what the media is like. Media is kind of like media, isn't it? I
Yeah.
hate the bloody media, but there you go. Um, but the trouble is, so when you kind of like with your job, um, what's the success rate on the internet? Is it good? Do a lot of clients lose the weight? what is the success rate?
Yeah, success rate is very, very good. So I've probably got less than a handful of people that haven't managed to stick to what they were wanting to do, and they came up with all the excuses on the sun as to why they couldn't do that. But actually, the vast majority of them do. They just go straight through. They've got no qualms with it, and they make those big differences. So, for example, as a chap I've been working with over the last 3 months, he's managed to drop down by 10 kilos easy enough. There's a lady I've been working with now for the last 4 weeks. She's just dropping the weight, and again, it's not as dramatic as, for example, the lifestyle change you made, 11 stone in 6 months, is a massive, massive achievement. But it's not
Mm,
necessarily sustainable. So what we do is I aim for something that is sustainable, so they can make this a
yeah,
lifetime and a permanent change. So we look at trying to get somewhere between, it's like half a kilo and a kilo to a pound to 2 pounds a week. That's it. It's a nice, safe,
yeah,
maintainable, manageable amount that will not shock your body or anything. So it's not like we're trying to strive for this. You're going to become Chris Hainsworth in the space of 6 months. And that's probably not I'm not the person for doing that. But if you want something where effectively it's going to be where we can create something sustainable that you can then take forwards as a lifestyle going forwards, and you learn along the way. And I think that's the key thing as well. Is this learning piece of it, and that's one thing I have had as a lot of feedback back, because if you can give people the opportunity to ask questions in the moment that they need the answers, then straight away they get that experiential learning, and that really reinforces it, because not only are they
yeah,
seeing
yeah,
the problem they've got, they're able to get the answers, implement the solution, get the results, and that is an unbelievable,
yeah.
powerful way of being able to get people over the line. So again, there's all these little tools that kind of make the difference between working with somebody like an online coach versus, for example, just downloading a diet plan from the internet, where you don't get that opportunity to be able to have that kind of one-to-one or feedback.
Right, let's get some questions from my radio before we finish. Hi, Martin. Do you believe in it? Sorry, hypnosis for losing weight?
Do I believe in hypnosis for losing weight? Um, I think there is some benefits. Hypnosis is a really, really good tool for helping you uncover things that might be blocking you, or might be causing you some form of way of not being able to progress moving forward. So I think it is one thing that can help. Again, like we said earlier, there's those kind of 6 key areas that I look at. One is around mindset, and hypnosis really does help you unlock some of those things that could be in that mindset.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. Um, Margaret wants to know. I am 63 years old. I do exercise nearly every day, and I do a walk. I walk my dog 5 miles every day. I achieved a lot, lost quite a bit of weight. The trouble is now I've got a bit of muscle on top of my arm, and everybody thinks I am Popeye. Um, is why is that? Why have I got the muscle on my arms?
So it will come from anywhere. Your body will start to develop muscle just before you're starting to utilize those muscles in your body. So if you find it getting on top of your arms, you probably find that something like, for example, if it's right on the shoulder piece here, you're probably utilizing your shoulders a lot more. If it's more towards the upper part of your arm, that might be, for example, you're utilizing your biceps or your triceps more. So it will just come down to what areas you've been utilizing there. The thing is that it's because you are utilizing them. You're probably noticing a bit more as well. If you've been losing weight as you've been going through your journey, then naturally what will happen is the adipose tissue that's kind of stored below your skin and between your kind of skin and your muscle, that as that starts to disappear, that will give you a better definition of your actual muscle itself. So you start to see the lines. So it may be that actually that muscle was already there, and it's just the fact now that some of the body fat started to disappear that actually starting to show a lot more. It's To be frank, it's not a bad thing. I think it's something that you should definitely be proud of, and it's a nice badge of honour to say actually you started to shed that weight. The one thing I hate about when it comes down to removing body fat is you cannot have any control over where your body takes it from. So as a man, I kind of store mine completely around my midriff, and it's the last place it ever goes and ever shifts from. Um, As a lady, you might find actually you're storing it in other places. Potentially, it's more on your bottom or on your thighs or you're on your arms. So the fact that you're going through that process of losing weight and losing body fat, it's probably just revealing some of the muscle that was already there as well.
Right. And also, do you have any plans at the moment? Have you got any plans that can help people or join you know, your group?
Yeah, always
Do
welcome for
you
people to join them.
Right. Okay. And how do they contact you?
The best way is just drop me an email to hello@martinsharp.com, and then what we can do is obviously have a conversation from that point forwards.
Right. Okay. Is it expensive to Rosemary say, is it expensive to have an online coach? Good question.
It all depends on what you classify as expensive. So everything comes back down to the value that you get from something. So some people go and have breast augmentation surgery and spend tens of thousands of pounds, but for them that wasn't expensive because that's given them the lifestyle that they were looking for. It's given them the confidence that they needed. So it all comes down to what you classify as expensive. I can tell you one thing: I'm not the price of breast augmentation surgery, so that's not that bad.
uh, no. Well, there you go. Thank you, Martin, once again. Thank you for your time. And
You're welcome.
if you want to listen to this, this will be a copy of this will be on the radio later on, as soon as I upload it to the radio site. Thank you, Martin. Thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome,
so
Steve.
much.
Have a great day.
And you.